Hey, it's Abdullah, and this is the Nokia C31. For those of you who don't know, the C series is Nokia's entry-level series that's aimed at first-time smartphone buyers. So it's for somebody who's transitioning from a feature phone to a smartphone and doesn't want to spend a lot of money. The C31 is priced at $130 approximately worldwide, and it comes with plenty of smartphone features, but definitely with a bit of compromises in order to achieve that price point. How's the build quality? To be honest, one of the best aspects about it is how it feels in the hand and how nicely built it is for its price point. The whole device is made out of polycarbonate plastic with a textured back, so it adds a bit of grip to the whole device. And it also has an IP52 dust and splash resistance rating, so if it's accidentally sprayed by water, it shouldn't have any problems. It feels nice and solid in the hand and no less than a device that costs about twice as much. However, a closer look reveals where the compromises have been made. For example, it uses a micro USB port instead of USB-C for charging. There's also a rear firing speaker underneath the camera, and it neither sounds too loud or offers excellent quality. You shouldn't have any problems hearing it if it's ringing, but quality is mediocre at best. There's also a fingerprint scanner on the back of the device, which is a more simple solution to integrating this technology, as opposed to having it on the power button, for example. Other than that, the device looks okay, and I actually like this cyan color that I have over here, although the design is pretty forgettable. The hardware also offers some of the practical features that we're pretty used to with budget-friendly devices. So you can expand the memory of the device using a micro SD card, as well as have two different SIM cards inside all at the same time. And there's also a 3.5mm headphone jack. By the way, you can get the device with up to 128 gigabytes of built-in storage with 4 gigabytes of RAM, which is pretty decent for its price point. What are its key features? I would say the device has 4 key selling points that might make this compelling for some people. The first one is that it comes with a pretty large 6.7-inch HD Plus display. Yes, it's an IPS LCD and it isn't the sharpest around, but the quality of the display is actually pretty good for what it is. And some people appreciate having that extra screen real estate. The second is the battery, as this comes with a 5050 milliamps battery. So Nokia is saying you can get up to 3 days of usage on a single charge, and that does sound about right for a light user. And the third aspect is that it comes with stock Android 12 out of the box. Now, unlike its more expensive Nokia siblings, this comes with more stuff pre-installed out of the box. So it comes preloaded with a couple of games, but luckily you can uninstall all of them if you don't use them. And the final key selling point is the rear camera. Not because it uses an amazing sensor or anything, as it's using a 13 megapixel sensor, which is pretty small. And it also has 2 additional cameras, which are the 2 megapixel macro camera and the 2 megapixel depth sensor. So those really aren't amazing additions that make this hard to resist. But the phone does come with something called Camera by Google. So it has a separate camera app that's provided by Google, and it uses some of Google's imaging algorithms. And I thought this was a gimmick at first, but after briefly testing out the camera, I think it actually delivers, especially when you're trying to capture images in good light. The stock camera app does have things such as night mode, for example, but don't expect much out of this really. What are the key hardware omissions? While the C31 does have Bluetooth, it uses Bluetooth 4.2, which is the old, less efficient standard. As I said, it uses a micro USB port for charging as opposed to USB-C. It can only be charged at up to 10 watts of charging speed, which means approximately up to 3 hours to fully charge the battery. There's no NFC on board, so you can't use this for mobile payments. And the device lacks a magnetometer, so you can't use the compass in any apps. How's the performance like? Now, this is the aspect that reveals the exact price point of this smartphone. The C31 uses a Unisoc SC9000 processor. So that's an octa-core processor built on a 28 nanometer architecture. And yeah, that's pretty ancient compared to something just a bit more expensive. It has 4 A55 cores clocked at 1.6 GHz and 4 A53 cores clocked at 1.2 GHz. And what this means is that all of the cores in this CPU are aimed at power efficiency as opposed to performance, and it really shows. Even with a pretty lightweight stock Android experience, the phone never really feels fast. It takes its sweet time to launch any apps, and switching between apps isn't that quick either. Having to deal with this on a daily basis requires a level of patience that I personally don't have. But I guess the hidden advantage of this is that it sort of forces me not to use it as often as possible. So this might just be exactly what you need if you want to cure your smartphone addiction. Anyway, that's everything I wanted to say about the Nokia C31. This isn't a typical smartphone smartphone that I'd usually review, but I was pretty curious about this. And since I have it here, I just thought, why not make a video talking about this? Do you think it's worth spending a bit extra and getting much better performance? Or do you think this is exactly what this phone is designed to be? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. If you want to see what you can get if you spend a bit more money, check out my Nokia G11 unboxing video here. Or if you want to see the best that Nokia currently has to offer, check out my X30 video here. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next one.